Today I want to talk about masks. I'm not talking about Halloween masks or masquerade masks, but the masks we wear every day to show the rest of the world who we might be. I want to discuss about what they are, why we wear them, and why we need to remove them. So I'm Dr. Brett, and I'm the founder of the Momentum Revolution and of Momentum, along with my wife, Kim, obviously. So what is a mask? A mask is a face that we show to the rest of the world that we're okay on the outside, but maybe actually struggling behind that mask. Maybe we're hiding behind the mask. What we're hiding behind the mask is maybe depression, or we feel ashamed. We've got anger issues, or we feel lonely, or we feel like a fraud or a failure. Maybe we're just struggling with life in general, or maybe we're struggling to keep up with the expectations of who we're meant to be as a person in today's world. A lot of times we feel that if people see that we're struggling, we might be judged as a result. So we keep that mask on to protect ourselves and our feelings and our emotions. Simply put, we basically hide behind our masks to hide our pain and maybe what we feel are our weaknesses and our negative emotions. Now, let me just get one thing straight. Masks are really important. Allow us to deal with situations or events in those moments. Emergency responders, armed forces, those people are trained to put on these masks and to wear them. Police officers, paramedics, fireys, for example, they have to go and deal with horrible shit every single day. Go to a murder scene, to go to a drug overdose, cutting people from cars. They're traumatic events, and you can't rock up there an emotional wreck. You have to be tough and strong. So in that moment, and being an ex-police officer, you'd rock up and you'd be in this mode where everything's serious, deal with it, and get the job done. The same happens with people in everyday life, when it comes to the loss of a loved one or a tragic event happening or an accident happening. You just have to deal with the moment. But in that moment, you put this mask on, it's like, I'm going to deal with it. And then later on, you can take that mask off and deal with it emotionally. The problem is, I think one of the things is that we start wearing masks probably at a relatively young age, probably in primary school. And we start wearing these masks to try and fit in, to stop being bullied, to try and make sure that we aren't the odd one out, I suppose. And so we try on these different little masks to see which one fits us and how we can best fit into our little community within that space, probably of primary school, high school, especially because kids can be quite brutal at times, as we all know. So it's important to really take that step back and understand we put this mask on quite early. The problem is we don't always take the mask off, or we forget to take the mask off, or we're not showing how to. Having been a police officer myself and worked with police for a lot of years and know a lot of police officers, I can see what happens to these men who've been in the job for a long time, men and women in the job for a long time. They have traumatic event after traumatic event after traumatic event, and they're expected to be these tough, resilient men and women who are meant to deal with this shit every day, and they just keep their mask on and they forget to take it off. If they don't take it off and deal with it and get the proper help, then what they do is start masking it, and they can start masking it with or numbing it with alcohol and drugs, sex, porn, gambling, TV, video games, all that sort of stuff. And it starts to break down relationships. We shut ourselves off because we don't want to see that we've got a weakness. And I think a lot of times we actually wear these masks because we're expected to act and behave in a certain way. Women, expectations today is like, have a job, be good at it, work, have a career and be good at it, still run a household, still raise your children, still be a good wife, a good cook, and be there for everyone else and look good doing it. What a crock of shit. It's not possible. And for men, the age-old adage is that, we need to be tough and hard. We need to be the breadwinners, hard-working beer drinkers. We don't show our emotions or our fears. We don't show, our feelings. We don't cry, and we don't show weaknesses. Heaven forbid we go and ask for directions. I mean, that's just not who we are. We are emotional beings underneath this, and we have to open up. And so by trying to live up to those expectations within society and other people's expectations, it's impossible. So we put this mask on and we go out and we go, look, I'm fine. My life is great. I'm fantastic. Look how wonderful my family is. But behind the scenes, the relationship might be breaking down. We might be depressed and sad and struggling. Now, there's all types of masks that we wear. And I'm just going to name a few for you. You might recognize some of these. There's the bully, the know-it-all, the social butterfly, the Superman or Superwoman who can do everything and never needs any help. The cool cat, the Fonzie type character, the tough guy, the perfectionist, the class clown, Mr. or Mrs. Invisible, where they try and stay behind the scenes, back of the class, don't say anything, don't speak up. The person who always plays the victim all the time. The people pleaser, always trying to please everyone else apart from themselves. The look at me, I'm busy, and I'm okay. Now, for me, I'm okay was my go-to. I'd go to work every day and I pretend I was okay. And for 30 years, on and off, I suffered from depression. I'd come home, I'd be exhausted. And this is one of the problems about wearing a mask and not taking it off and not dealing with our shit. Because I expect to go to work and be professional. But at the same time, I can't just pretend that I'm okay when I'm not. I can be professional and go, yes, okay, here you are. Here's my professional chiropractic face. But at the same time, I can't go out every single time I go out and pretend I'm okay when I'm struggling with depression and feeling like shit every day. It's exhausting living like that. Exhausting. So it's really important that we understand that we have to take these masks off. We have to firstly be aware that we're wearing them. Being aware of what the mask is, and we have to take it off. And we have to deal with the stuff that's buried underneath it. Whether it is from a trauma, from being emotionally struggling to whatever the problem is, we need to deal with it so we can actually take that mask off and just be ourselves. Because we need to be ourselves, we need to be vulnerable, we need to deal with our pain, and we need to stop hiding who we truly are, because we are magnificent in our own right. So let's be magnificent. So I ask you, what's your mask if you're wearing one? And if you are, what are you masking? And I believe it's time to take that mask off. Marty Rubin said, behind every mask, there is a face. And behind that, a story. What's your story? Why your mask? I'm Dr. Brett. Peace, love, and healing. Bye.